We do the mountain biking and then the martinis, just to know. So Letitia's daughter, Tessa, was at this event 2 years ago. She was, I think, 60. Sadly, Tessa is not with us this year. Tessa had a very rare lung cancer. And when I invited again Letitia this year, she was inspired to say something to us. And so I knew her message would be something we'd want to hear.
Thank you. Okay. Thanks, Brad. Seems like it's sort of.
Oh, no, I got back into mouse mode.
Sorry, we're in mouse mode. Today I will choose joy. It's a new affirmation that I repeat several times a day. However, attempting to choose joy has been difficult at best this last year. Tessa Joy Davis was born a precious bundle of joy on January 25th, 1997. And she died a colossal bundle of joy on January 7th, 2015, just a year ago. A rare lung cancer. Sorry, this is kind of hard. So you ask yourself, how did she get lung cancer? Did she smoke? Secondhand smoke, radon, asbestos? The answer is no to all the common questions. It just happened for reasons that can't be explained. In fact, I would say that Tessa had as clean a life and upbringing as anyone I know. She's the perfect example of a non-smoking lung cancer that we're seeing more of these days. And as far as I know, she sadly might be the youngest case on record with her type of cancer. Tessa was our third child, a child of the Loma Prieta Mountain, a small and wonderful community in the mountains above Los Gatos and Santa Cruz. Fresh air, sunshine, great schools, plenty of nature and room to roam made it an idyllic place for us to raise our children. We loved our life and Tessa loved her life. She was one of those rare kids who just appreciated her place in the universe. She was a great sister, and most of all, the best daughter a parent could ever hope for. Our family had many adventures that I've grown to treasure. We camped, we skied, we went on wilderness whitewater adventures, we sailed, we hiked as a family to the top of Half Dome in Yosemite. We rode our bikes. We traveled to Europe, we played games, we laughed. You get the picture. Tessa took to music at a young age, and she loved the piano. She loved to sing and act, and found a love for musical theater, which became her main childhood and adolescent activity. She was a natural comedian on stage. In high school, she picked up the guitar, and she never put it down. She loved music and how it brought people together. And she loved her school, her friends, her teachers. She loved little kids, and really looked forward to a day when she could have her own family. In high school, she took after her older sister and took a lot of AP classes and also joined the water polo team. Turned out she was pretty good at that too. And she swam on the swim team. She was a butterflyer. The pool became her second home. Everyone loved her, as Tessa had a fairly contagious and hilarious personality. She was a friend to everyone. I really never once heard her get involved in any drama, never heard her say anything about anyone. She was so Tessa. That was a term that was coined by her water polo coach, and anyone who knew her understands that's so Tessa. Back to the cancer. One day in December of 2013, after a typical water polo practice, Tessa came home and didn't eat. And she complained about a pain in the center of her chest. We weren't really parents to rush our kids to the doctors for minor things, but something told us to take her to urgent care the next morning. But we would get her back to English class in time. They did a chest x-ray and saw an unusual mass in her mediastinum. Sent us to Dominican and Santa Cruz where we could get a CT scan and some blood work done. That was her first experience with needles, not something she was ever at ease with. By the end of the day, we stopped at home to pack an overnight bag as we were headed to Lucille Packard Children's Hospital, to the Bath Center for Childhood Cancer and Blood Diseases. We were certain it would all be a mistake, and perhaps it would make for an interesting essay one day. Something like this was very unusual indeed. The Lucille Packard doctors were unsure what it was, so they quarantined her and ran many, many tests. Many, many pokes, many scans, many times to hold hands. A biopsy was needed, so we went in for a pretty scary surgery to biopsy her lung. Super scary, but Tessa's still smiling as she always was. The diagnosis was neuroendocrine carcinoma of pulmonary origin and metastases in the liver and bones. Lung cancer at 16 years old. I can only say that we were in a state of disbelief and denial. This was our Tessa. Not possible, right? Well, as rare as it was that she had this, she would get rid of it too. Tessa was healthy, she never smoked, she never drank or imbibed in any drugs, she never even drank a soda in her whole life, or ate fast food, really never. We had many options for good food. She never even ate her Halloween candy. Tessa liked milk. And sure, we later tested our home for radon, and we tested our water, and there was never anything bad, no explanation. So the recommendation was for chemotherapy, cisplatin and etoposide, 6 rounds. Nasty stuff. The nurses had to wear hazmat suits, and Tessa would be exposed. The effects could be sterility, nausea, secondary cancer, hearing loss, nerve damage, kidney damage, anemia, etc. But what choices did we have? We didn't have any choices. There were some new immunotherapy clinical trials, but she wasn't even 18, so she didn't qualify. Plus, the qualification was to have failed first at a platinum-based therapy. In an instant, we had a support group like you have never seen. It takes a mountain. You would not believe what we came home to that Christmas. Our support group just grew over the year, and it held us up. And Tessa felt very loved and supported. There was never a thought, though, that we might lose her. Not really. We can all access just about anything on the internet these days, and clearly the statistics were grim. But there were no statistics for someone her age. And even the dire prognoses have their exceptions. You hear about people who survive the most threatening types of cancer, people whose chances, statistically speaking, seem to be nil. So we made a conscious decision to never look or dwell on statistics or prognoses. We would defy the odds, and we would heal Tessa's body, mind, and spirit. It wasn't just positive thinking or false hope. We truly believed it. She would be our miracle. She was our Tessa joy. We researched and consumed countless books, things like Radical Remission, cancer diet books, Power of Belief. We consulted many doctors across the country, even in other countries. We did the Foundation 1 DNA sequencing that looked at the 405 genes. There were no known alterations, no known alternate therapies for her. So her amazing doctors, one of which is here today, Dr. Park, had nothing to try except platinum-based drugs that had been used without cures or much success for a long time, since maybe the 1970s. We did everything to complement the chemotherapy to at least keep her well and vibrant during treatments. We had many friends. We had naturopaths. We had nutritionists. We had an integrative MD, acupuncturists, acupressurists, massage therapists, biofeedback. We began meditating and going to Qigong classes. We did medicinal Qigong. We had a reflexologist. We even had 3 energy healers. It was actually a delight meeting and working with all of these people who had one thing in common: to try to cure Tessa. Tessa and I often talked about all of the silver linings that we had, and it was meeting all of these wonderful people, the new things we were exposing ourselves to. Tessa never cried during any of this. In fact, she embraced the journey in the most beautiful way. Her friends donated their hair to make wigs for her, but she just embraced being bald. She did things like name her surgically implanted Portricia. And she introduced Portricia to all of the nurses and doctors, and often referred to Portricia as her new best friend. She brought joy to everyone she encountered. We had many celebrations, as scans showed tumor reduction. While she was undergoing chemo, she stayed in school. She took her SATs. She applied and was accepted to colleges. She attended water polo games, and she tried to carry on with a normal life. Her incredible dedication to nutrition kept her vibrant and strong. She sat here, as Brad mentioned, in this room in 2014 and at the ACS Can breakfast, and she planned one day to be a speaker here. She was going to be the survivor speaker. She wanted to talk about how nutrition and complementary therapies kept her so healthy and strong. She got to make a wish, and she chose to go to New York with her two best friends to meet her favorite author, John Green, whose book was premiering at the Ziegfeld, The Fault in Our Stars. If you ask me, she's the one who looks like a celebrity here, but this is actually the new face of lung cancer.